Hello everyone, and happy Christmas and season's greetings to all members of the Fire Brigade Union and your family and friends. 2024 has been another important year for our union and for the Fire and Rescue Service. There's been a whole series of developments which are important for the future of the Fire and Rescue Service and the future of our union. I'm sure you're all aware of the work the union has undertaken on the risk of contaminants and the long-term effects on health to firefighters and the campaigning work we've undertaken around this. And we can be very pleased that the Health and Safety Executive has agreed now to begin to develop a regime of inspections of fire and rescue services to take up precisely this issue. That's another success for our union. This year, of course, saw the final report of the Grenfell Tower inquiry. It's been a long and painful process, and I know that the thoughts of all of us have always been with the bereaved, the survivors and the relatives, and with the community in North Kensington. And of course, with those firefighters, the FBU members who tackled that horrific incident that night. We've been completely vindicated by that report. We exposed the role of central government from day one and highlighted the fact that deregulation, the cutting of so-called red tape, is at the heart of what happened at Grenfell. And we're still living in the middle of a building safety crisis with tens of thousands of people living in buildings that are identified with either flammable cladding or other major fire safety defects. This is a scandal that we've highlighted, we've campaigned on, and that campaign will continue into 2025. In 2024, we've continued our progress in our campaign on pay. We're nowhere near finished as yet, but we saw a 4% increase, which members voted overwhelmingly to accept. And alongside that, we saw a doubling of the national rate of maternity pay and the first increase in decades in the annual retaining fee for retained firefighters. That brings over 3 years our pay rises to just over 16%, and without the need to take strike action. But it was our determination and our unity which forced the employers to the negotiating table. We need to build on that for 2025 because we've still got a long way to go. We've got a lot of ground to make up, and that's one of the key challenges we'll face over the next year. 2024 has seen the back of the Tory government, and it's worth remembering what they did to our service and to our union. 12,000 firefighter posts were cut during the 14 years of Conservative government. Stations closed, fire engines axed on an unprecedented scale, the worst cuts we've ever seen in the history of the modern fire and rescue service. So it is an achievement to see the back of that government. And we won important commitments from the new Labour government around national standards and around a national advisory body to develop those standards. And I'm very pleased to say that the first meeting of that ministerial advisory group has already taken place. But there's a lot of work to be done. There will be debates, there will be disagreements, and we need to push the professional case to rebuild the fire service, to build a modern fire and rescue service that can deal with all the risks that our communities face, particularly around issues such as climate change and the extreme weather events that come with it. The floods, the storms, the wildfires, the moorland and grassland fires. In October, we saw 1,000 FBU members come together in Westminster to make that professional case to the new members of Parliament. We'll need to carry on with that campaigning work into 2025. We also won important commitments from Labour around workers' rights. We know that there's been decades of anti-trade union legislation, and we've been at the forefront of campaigning against that. But again, we need to hold Labour's feet to the fire where necessary. We need to insist that they deliver the promises. And as 2024 comes to an end, we have a final bit of good news because our pensions campaign continues, but one element of that, the injury to feelings payments due under the age discrimination case that we won some years ago, are now due to start being settled finally. So it's been an eventful year. Let's go into 2025, united, strong, determined. We've got the arguments to convince politicians, to convince the public of the need to invest and build our fire and rescue service. Let's do that together in 2025. And finally, therefore, I'd like to wish all FBU members happy Christmas, season's greetings, best wishes for 2025 to you, your family and all your friends.